And now a Contact 5 investigation. A child accused of a very adult crime is ordered to wear an ankle monitor as his case makes it through the system.
But Contact 5 investigator Maris Badcock discovered that did nothing to keep this child or the community safe. Maris?
So first, in the juvenile court system, juvenile offenders are there for rehabilitation, not necessarily punishment. But even children who violate court orders, like ankle monitors, are supposed to be held accountable. So you can imagine our surprise when we learned a Boynton Beach juvenile was allowed to violate his ankle monitor hundreds of times. A 12-year-old boy arrested for raping a 10-year-old girl.
He is ungovernable, unmanageable, and dangerous.
But instead of lockup, a judge put the Boynton Beach boy on an ankle monitor while they tried to get him competent to stand trial. For 3 months, police reports show the boy and his siblings may have terrorized the victim's family by slashing their tires and violating a protective order. But those claims never came up in court.
So let's keep our fingers crossed this all stays good.
And the ankle monitor stayed. Then, 8 months in,
I hate to use the term hundreds, but I have to say hundreds of times he's violated the monitor.
The child is out all hours of the night. The monitors go off all hours of the day and night. And no one is supervising the child in any way, shape, or form.
which got us wondering, how many violations does it take?
Well, 100 violations, that's
before someone does something.
so difficult for me to fathom.
That's retired Judge Ron Alvarez.
And I can't speak for any other judge, but when I was on the bench,
And he worked juvenile cases for 15 years.
you know, the most violations I ever tolerated were 5 or 6. I don't know how this fell off the railroad tracks.
Here's how it works. Juvenile probation officers must report just about all ankle monitor violations to the court.
You get an alert 24/7.
What happens after that is up to a judge.
When I see an alert at 2 a.m., I mean, I literally have to turn my phone off. I need to sleep.
Really? Turn off the phone because you're getting too many calls? I mean, that's like a 911 operator saying, I'm not going to answer that. That thing keeps ringing all the time.
Technically, according to this memo, if any violations come through after hours, the juvie probation officer can get to it the next business day. But since those records are exempt from the public, they won't tell us if those hundreds of violations were ever given to a judge or how they were handled.
Once I found out the child was a danger to themselves, I'm taking him into secure detention. Why do I want to take a chance on the electronic monitor, especially when he has so many violations?
This memo from the Department of Juvenile Justice says kids shouldn't get ankle monitors if they are under 13 years old, a threat to public safety, or undergoing competency reviews.
Incredible, incredible.
But if a judge says a 12-year-old boy charged with rape, deemed incompetent to stand trial, can wear an ankle monitor, the monitor is a go.
Where do you expect it to go, to end up, other than in a disaster?
Juveniles in Florida spend an average of 26 days on an ankle monitor, not 8 months. And that boy is now in a behavioral treatment facility while they work to get him competent to stand trial. Now, we reached out to the DJJ officials who say this: the Florida Department of Juvenile Justice works collaboratively with the court and law enforcement to ensure that youth court-ordered to electronic monitoring are appropriately supervised and held accountable when violations occur. We also reached out to officials with the Palm Beach County courts, and they didn't get back to us in time for a deadline. Live in the studio, I'm Maris Badcock, WPTV News Channel 5.